Hey there everybody, welcome back to How to Sound 80s, part number 2. You guys liked part number 1 so much, and you guys wanted part 2, so here it is. So this is going to be on lead guitar, and I figured there's going to be one more part 3, which will be on getting an 80s tone. So these are all very key factors to getting that overall kind of hair metal sound. And one thing, if you guys want to check out the How to Get Your 80s Metal Tone video, probably like 3 or 4 days early, maybe about a week early, click right here. I'm going to make it unlisted. If you guys want to check it out now, you can. But other than that, it's going to be available in about a week. So, how do we sound 80s as far as lead playing goes? Now, some people might kind of be like, oh, well, that's easy. You just play a solo. No, I really think there's like a format to 80s solo. It's nothing that I follow. I'm not like, I need to write a solo like this. It's, I think it's kind of embedded in how I think about, like writing a solo. And the white panel is messed up on my lighting kit, and it's driving me crazy. So I might freak out in the video. But here's how I believe that we write an 80s metal guitar solo. So like I said, there is a format. And the format's very simple, and it's always effective. So it's this. You have a riff, which is obvious. But you start off melodic. And I love how melodic 80s solos are. So, and you want your solo to build. You don't want to come out of the gate with your best lick and then leave the listener to a bunch of melody the rest of the solo. Like, that's usually not what people want. It's kind of like, I think of it like Stairway to Heaven. They've always said it's a climbing song. You know, it starts off. Can't pick without my pick. But, like that, and it slowly gets heavier and heavier and heavier and works all the way up to that amazing Jimmy Page solo. So let's use the same format. So let's say we have a riff. And I'm trying to remember the riff I played in the last video. Something like this. Something like that. So that was our riff. Now if I was to write a solo over this, like I said, my go-to thing is melody. You start melodic, you work your way, and you build up into kind of like a finale lick. So if that was my riff, this is kind of what I would do. Maybe not so sloppy, but I was just kind of winging it, and what I did is I kind of like had that melody in the back of my head of the riff still playing, and I was just thinking, okay, like where do I want the solo to go? So I was just kind of improvising, unfortunately, not over a backing track, but you notice how it escalated. It started out, I can't remember how it started. Yeah, something like that, and then I did one little like this. And then it kind of a little bit like of a more unique phrasing in there. And then eventually there was the big finale lick, which was like a Paul Gilbert string skipping. And so on. And it can be whatever lick, like knocking stuff over, that you want, but that's kind of how I think it should work. So, really the 80s teaches us quite a few different things. There's many things you can do with some basic chords in part 1, and that's one thing, if you guys missed part 1, go check that out. I have a link in the description to go back to that. And it teaches us melody. Like I said, you look at all of the great players, and what do they all have in common? Like if I listed a bunch of players, Paul Gilbert, George Lynch, Warren DeMartini, Nuno Bettencourt. What do they all have in common? They're all phenomenally good. They all have crazy melody. They come up with amazing riffs, and they can stinking like melt your face off if they want to. So I feel like that, in my opinion, is the definition of a really good guitar player. I guess a really good guitar player that I like to listen to, and that I hope to be like, I want to be able to be very technically proficient, but also very like melodically aware of what's happening, come up with creative riffs. I don't want to just have a riff that is my solo riff, you know, something like that. I want a riff that might be, you know, the riff, one of my favorite riffs that I've ever come up with was the one for Charvel versus the World. So it's busy, not too busy, it's enough to keep the player interested in what's happening, and if there's still enough room to solo over that if I wanted to. So there's so much to learn from, you know, the 80s, and you can apply it to anything. You don't have to like hair metal. You don't have to want to have eyeliner on. I don't have eyeliner on. That's not why I was moving my hat. Jerks. But there's just so much to learn from them. It was a goofy period for clothing, but a great period for, you know, guitar playing and hair. I wish I could have hair like them back then. Just saying. But thank you guys for checking out this part. That is, to me, the idea of coming up with 80s. And obviously the biggest answer is going to be listen to the 80s. Just like in part 1, listen to these players that I listed, and there's so many other ones. Key Marcello. It goes on forever. And, you know, and they all kind of have this thing that's in common, you know. They're very melodic, and then they can melt your face if they want to. So if you need a good face melting, go look up some George Lynch. Okay guys, that will do it for the video. If you would, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe-o, wherever the button is. That helps us out a ton. And if you'd like to see more of these 80s style videos, or if you have requests for videos, lessons of any other kind, I'll leave them in the comment section below. I always heavily take in consideration what you guys ask, and many of the videos that you see are recommended and asked for by you guys. So I will see you guys next time. Keep rocking. If anybody's